Hey, Model Railroad fans. All right, let's talk about details. I have alluded to in previous videos, I've talked about I call it the plethora of detail pieces that are included with these Sierra West kits. I hope you can see from what you're looking at here that I'm not exaggerating about that. I'm definitely not kidding about it. These kits come with I could even say everything and the kitchen sink, because a couple of the kits that I built have had kitchen sinks in them. So I'll just show you here. I'm taking a wide shot of this, and in my editing, I'm gonna focus in on each little section of what this is. I'm gonna tell you what all is included in this. I am not going to video the detailing, the painting, the burnishing, everything else that I'm going to be doing to these, but I did want to show you what all is involved and what all is included in this. These are the white metal castings. What I will do with those white metal castings is I will take this product, this AK Interactive Metal Burnishing, and I will dip these pieces in that solution, not let them stay there very long. I learned the hard way that if you leave them in there too long, they pretty much disintegrate. What this stuff is going to do is it's going to eat away at the metal, and it's going to leave a tarnished blackish brown hue on the metal pieces. And that's where you start with a lot of these. Some of these, like these chimneys, that's probably all I will do to it. It'll come out black. It'll look like a rusted old chimney. I'll probably add a little rust product to it, maybe some rust powders to it, but they're going to be pretty much the way they need to be when they go through this solution. I've got wheels, I've got gears, I've got pulleys, I've got tires, gears, little clock-like gears. So I've gone through and I've separated out, gotten these kind of organized. This over here is a dismantled tractor. So this particular kit comes with a very old, I think it's a John Deere tractor, plus extra parts. We're supposed to be able to make it look like it's in that tractor repair area, that this has been dismantled and is in the process of being serviced, cleaned, whatever, put back together. So you can put it together in various stages of disrepair or repair, as it were, for staging. I've also mentioned that this was also a boat building company, and so there's some nautical pieces in here. All of this is 3D. I'm sorry, it's resin. I'm not sure if it's 3D printed or resin, how that works. But these are like tops to workbenches, lots and lots and lots of drums and barrels. Some of them are in trash cans, some are empty, some are full. We have just all sorts of things. I'm not even sure what that is. That are going to be scattered around. We've got concrete blocks. We've got oil cans, we've got boxes and crates. Over here is furnishings that go inside the various buildings. If you choose to open your buildings up so that you can see what's inside. I think my buildings are closed for the most part, so I've also said in the past that what I do is I take a lot of these pieces and I put them elsewhere on the layout, so that, as you can tell, if I used this much stuff in that one structure and then had 2 or 3 other structures around that just don't have this much or anywhere near this much stuff, that's going to make it out of proportion. So I'll take a good half to 2/3 of this stuff, and I will reapportion it into a lot of the other structures around. I'll take the pieces that are specifically oriented toward this Blue Sky company, and I'll use them at Blue Sky, but there's so many other generic pieces here. Old safes, wooden cabinets, you name it. This is a tool bench, and I've got another one pretty much like it that came with my one of my other kits, and you put wooden legs on it and turn it into a tool bench. These are my stove pipes for the roofs. These are some acetylene tanks, various types of air gas tanks. These are oil pumps. What I've done is this area right here, and I'll tell you, this will show up in my next, probably in this video, all of the things that I have separated out over here. This is a Coke machine. This is a coal bin. These are the bottoms to these oil pumps. This is in this little bag. This is my gasoline pump that will sit outside that little country store area. So everything in this corner is what I'm going to work on in this video. These are things that are specific to the blue sky structure that I need to attach to in one way or the other, the blue sky structure. Have you ever played Where's Waldo? Look at this. This is just the big pieces. There's probably 100 to 200 pieces in here of very, very, very small things. Sledgehammers, vices, little gears and pulleys and such. And so what I'm looking for is these little oil pump pieces have a crank, a handle crank on them. And somewhere in this Where's Waldo set of pieces, there's two little hand cranks, and I have yet to find them. So that's one reason I got all the rest of this stuff out, because I needed to get it down to where I could actually find those hand cranks. Once I find those hand cranks, I'll put everything back in from over here that I'm not necessarily going to be using right now, and I will just concentrate on finishing that pile. You don't want to do all this at once. You'd get so burnt out doing it all at once. Plus, another problem with doing it all at once is you tend to do, if you do large batches like this, everything looks like it turns out to look the same. You might be using the same paint palette. You might be using the same amount of time that you're dipping in the solutions. There's all sorts of things that you can be doing the same of if you try to do a large portion of things at once. So I suggest you divide it out into, workable groups, something you can get done in a matter of, I can't even say a matter of days, because we're going to have to burnish. We're going to have to go back and do a little sanding, and then we're going to do the painting, and we're going to do going to add rust to it. We're going to add weathering powders for aging the structures. So this little set right over here will take me probably a week to complete, and that's what I would like to do in this video, is get these things completed that I've been saying I was going to complete for this build. I'll get that porch built where the gasoline pump goes, and I will get my roofs done, and at that point I'm going to call this video series done, because like I said, you can go online and see all sorts of people doing all sorts of things to these products. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've got the right way to do it, and in all likelihood I won't do it, and I do this on purpose. I won't do all of this the same way. I don't want it to look like it was all bought on the same day and aged outside for the same number of days. I want some things to look like they've been out in the weather. I want some things to look like they've been inside their whole life. I want some things to look like they've been put on the back of a truck and rolled down a hill. So we go for as much variety in this stuff as possible. So I'm going to work this little section right here. I'm going to work on the roofs. I'm going to work on that porch and the gasoline pump area of the blue sky. This is probably going to be the final installment of this video series. I will not be through with the Blue Sky Company when I get to the end of this video, but I'll be through with what I'm going to video of it. And, if you keep watching the videos, you'll see along the way, you'll see as I throw things in, and in various stages of completion over the next year or so. This thing will never be finished. It'll get close to finished, but there'll always be something I want to go back and tweak, just here or there. So I wanted to get the major steps on video of putting one of these these fairly major kits together. And this is not even more, this is not the most major kit you can get from Sierra West, but it is, as you can see, it's got a pretty intensive step here of adding all these detail parts. So bear with me, and you'll see along this video, you will see this little set of things come to life, and somewhere down the road, you'll see me incorporate the rest of this. So hang tight. We're going to start dipping some of these things in the burnishing liquid, and we'll go from there. Just a little more explanation. What I was doing there, first of all, dipping the pieces in this solution and watching them to see when they turn black. And then after that, this was simple water. And what you want to do, the reason you want to do that, if you leave the solution on the pieces, they'll continue to degrade and until you wash it off. So you want to be sure you wash it off with water before you finish. Now, the reason we do this, it makes the paint stick to the metal better. And a lot of these pieces, like I said, we won't even paint. I will not paint these stovepipes. They're already just a perfect shade of metal that you would expect them to be. What I might do and will do to these pieces is you go back and you take your Dremel or a little piece of very fine sandpaper. You just sort of have to play it by ear and see. You may use a wire brush for some things, but you'll go in and you can knock off some of this black, and if you want some shiny places, and you just play with it and make some of the metal, some of the ridges and things pop out. And so it's one of those play it by ear kind of things. But this is the first step to getting there. This is the main piece that I'm concerned with, is this gas pump. This is the stand to the pump, and this is the glass, just a piece of plastic tubing. This is the glass that goes at the top, and then this is where the little sign at the top goes, and this is the cap on the top of the glass right here. So And I'll be painting that, and then I'll be rusting it, and I'll be scraping some of the paint off and just doing some things to make it look rather weathered. So that's where we are. That's what we're doing. And these pieces over here, I'll simply spray them, probably with a either a flat black or the camouflage earth. And what we want is we want to get in all these cracks and crevices with that darker shade of paint, and then we'll come back in with a lighter paint and paint, sort of work our way out with the light things. Start with the very dark, and then this is the little wooden water tank that goes on top of the roof. It's not very large at all. So we want to get in the cracks and make sure that we see inside the cracks are dark brown or black, and then we'll come out with a wood tone, and then we'll on top of that we'll take a dry brush and just bring out some of that wood grain structure. So that's the things I'll be doing with that. I'm not going to video it all. That's very commonplace for basically all craftsman kits. So there are lots of people online that do a great deal of explaining about that and do a good job of explaining that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining beyond what I have already done. The next few shots we'll do of these will be probably the finished product. So hang in there, we're getting there. Hey, welcome back. It's been a couple of days since I showed you all the white metal castings and resin pieces and so forth. So let me catch you up on what I've done. These are the pieces that were in that box that I said I was going to be working on next. I'll start back here with our water tank. There's our water tank, and there's the little stand that's going to go up on the roof that is drying right now that I will get to next. This is the bottom side of the front porch roof to the little store, and this is the walkway beneath the roof. This is the roof to the warehouse building. I used a technique on this. I kind of wish I'd videoed that, but I did not. I'll describe what I did. Was just took some newsprint paper. This came with the kit. The newsprint did. The tissue did not. And I took a piece of 1 ply of a 2 ply facial tissue, and I used this. Let me find it. Streaking Grime by AK. And what I did was I just laid the tissue on top of the newsprint and dabbed it with that streaking grime and let it dry overnight. And so what you're seeing here is a layer of tissue paper over a layer of paper with that grimy look to it. And I'm really liking that. I've done tar paper in several different ways. I've used black sandpaper. I have used the method where you spray a piece of construction paper, a black construction paper, you spray it gray, and then you paint it black, and then you go through and you sand it off and make it look like it's revealing some worn spots. I like that method as well, but this I think is probably the most interesting method to me for that. So that's my roof structures. Over here I have poured a little concrete pad with some plaster, and it is currently setting up. And on that pad I will put these, let's see if I can focus in a little better. I'll put these oilers that I put together. You see the little handles? That's what I was looking for in the last video, was these little handles. I did ultimately find the little handles. That was where I was playing Where's Waldo. I've got some decals, not decals, but some printed labels that I'm going to put on the side of those oilers. This is my gasoline pump. I've got to get the signage put on the top of it, but as you can see, it's got its own little handle on it, as well as the pump and handle and hose itself. That hose is just a piece of soldering wire that I epoxied to the side. Well, I blackened it the way that I blacken everything else. This is a coaling box. Just some odds and ends of metallic things. I've got a little pot there and several little odds and ends that'll sit around on the outside of and the little oil can. A couple of brooms. These are my chimneys. One will come out of the wall, the others will go up on the roofs. A little electrical pole for the roof. Some acetylene tanks. And so those are the things that I said would be necessary. Of course, there are literally, as you saw, there's hundreds more details to put into this, but these are the ones that actually in one way or the other connect to or are very important parts of the diorama itself. So I wanted to go ahead and get them done. I got my little crates of Coke bottles. I missed my Coke machine. There's my Coke machine. The Coca-Cola was the decal that came with the kit. And so that's going to sit outside on the porch of the little stores. So my next thing will be to put all these things together over at the diorama and get these structures more or less finished up, and then I can move on to other things and come back as time permits and just, you know, work on these little all those other hundreds of pieces that are over here tucked away safely in the box. I'll be working on those along the way and scattering them around and making this thing look as authentic as I can. So back in a bit, and hopefully I'll be showing you this, all these things mounted over here on the diorama itself, and it will begin to look a lot more finished than it did last time you saw it. All right, later. Well, for now, it's good enough. I'm gonna leave it at this. I've still got a lot of scenicking to do, a lot of little details to do. My loading platform is still basically empty except for the acetylene tanks and the broom. There's lots of loading crates to build and such to put there. But here's what I've decided to do. The truck repair shop is going to indeed take up this space next to Blue Sky Company. As you see, I've built me a little courtyard area between the two buildings there. There's going to be a lot of goings on there. There's going to be some probably some things under repair there. Lots of trash piles and such. Got me a little gate coming in from the front. I've got me some safety barrier here in the back along the railroad track. And then of course we've got the truck repair shop itself. And got a little privacy fence there. That's going to be more or less a little junk area, junk storage area. Love the way the gate turned out there. The roofs, my roofs are not on permanently on any of my buildings because I'm going back later and adding the lighting. So there's the rooftop water tank, and I've added a few little boards here and there to my stairs to make it look like it's had some patchwork done to it. This stack came with the Blue Sky Company. I am using it over at the truck repair shop currently. Moving on over here to the general store area. Got a little coal bin out in the back, and I've got my gasoline pump and my oil pumps there. Little front porch with a wonderful little Coke machine. Let's see if I can get in there. Yeah, I got the Coke machine going in there. Got some signage up. Got my little concrete pad poured for the gasoline pump. I might redo that. It broke up a little more than I wanted it to, but it'll suffice for now. So now I've got the roadway, the grade crossings, the roadway between the general store and Earl's Oil, right here, over here at the REA depot. Give you a little overview of the whole thing, how everything is situated. This is the little mountain of trees with the tree house. I've got some treehouse figures coming very soon. that I'm excited to put up there. Somebody left a caboose on the track. Hope they've got some flares out. Moving down around the bend. Number 12 is sitting there waiting to be loaded. Got truck repairs going on there, little coaling station, water tower, speeder shed. The mine that creates most of the activity back here in this section of the layout. My engine house, turntable, couple of yard tracks. So I'm not through with this by any means. I still have full intention of coming back and doing a lot of static grass, a lot of weeds, a lot of, I don't know, maybe a few water puddles here and there, and change out some of these trees for some better ones. I don't know. There's always going to be lots to do, but right now it is usable as a layout. I will probably do an operational video next, now that I have this new industry here that is of course going to be in the way of Earl's oil, so that'll add some interest to the switching. Let me give you a little flyover of the whole thing, starting down at the east end with our dry creek bed and the little dry waterfall back there in the back. Coming down over everything. And there you have it. This is the first module, almost complete. Complete enough to call it more or less complete, I guess. So the next series of videos, probably be some operations, and then we move on to doing the backside, the other entire half of this peninsula, which is going to be a harbor scene. It's going to have a car float, a little wharf area, some docks. It's going to have the lumber company back there. Lots of stuff going on the other side. It's going to be a little more urban on the other side. Going to have a little town scene. This is much more rural on this side of the layout. But just a little heads up as to what's coming. I'm having fun. I hope you are too. Appreciate you coming along for the ride. And as always, happy railroading.